Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Animaticon 2016 with Miss Caitlynn French. How you doing?
I'm doing good this morning. I'm still waking up. It's Sunday morning of a convention, so we're all at that point where we're kind of zombies walking around. It's kind of like seeing Walking Dead cosplay go around.
So how did you get started in the world of entertainment?
So I was a big fan of anime when I was a kid, and I watched a lot of Sailor Moon, read Harry Potter, and when that magical cat never showed up with my wand and I never got my letter, the only way to be able to play pretend with an over-imaginative head was to be an actor. So I never really grew out of playing dress up and being someone else, so I started pursuing acting at that point in time, and I knew I always wanted to get into voiceover work, but it was something that I was really uncertain how I was ever going to get into, so I just pursued getting a general theater degree at that point. And when I started doing my college, I got into this group known as Airship Isabella, and through that I ended up meeting Chris Ayres. And at that time, I was going through college, so I started using him as a reference because he's done a lot of stage combat for Broadway and stuff, so I could use him as a legit first-person reference for papers, which made it awesome. So he kind of became a mentor for me at that point, and we had a lot of great talks about improv because I was on an improv troupe almost all 4 years of college, so he kind of became a mentor for me through that. And then when I moved down to Texas, he's like, hey, you want to come audition? And he didn't kick me out, so I guess that's a good thing. I think they like me.
All right, so you had said at one point that you had been part of Airship Isabella. How did that come about as you were talking about through college, and what was it like being part of the crew? Because we did actually at one point interview the captain of the Airship Isabella, so what's it like talking about that?
It was a lot of fun, which was kind of crazy because they were stationed in Texas, Austin actually, at the time that we ended up joining them, and we were with a small sect that was involved in Kansas. We were with 3 other people, my now husband Justin, my best friend Chelsea, and her husband Rick. And Rick and Chelsea got involved because they were doing cosplay down in Texas a lot more. They'd drive back and forth to the conventions, and they got the invite, and they realized they had an entertainment aspect, and Chelsea and Rick were like, Caitlynn, Justin, you guys are great at this. Come join us. So we ended up making characters. They ended up accepting us in, so we went around doing performances. I was a steampunk fairy doll thing. It was college. My OC was a little weird. We all have those first. Yeah. That's not my first one. It's not like the shame-burying first original character that we all have, but it's definitely one that I'm like, oh man, I would have improved upon that. But it made for a really cool costume. I had these altered Batman wings, so they were like lace wings that would pop out, so I'd pull them and they go whoop, and then we'd have like random people who'd come up and pull it, and that got a little creepy after a while, or inappropriately timed. Lots of inappropriate timing happened. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of adventure, and they're great people. I'm glad they're having a lot of fun in Louisiana now.
Alrighty, now at a panel at Glass City Con last year, you had talked about body posture and how that helps with voice acting. What advice or training would you give to fans who wish to improve that skill?
Definitely start learning how to identify what sort of energy you need to put to your voice. I think with me personally, a lot of my posture is, a lot of my energy in my vocal quality and the sound of my vocal quality is affected directly how I stand or motion myself in a booth. A lot of my girls are very quiet. They have this little tone, so I don't need to put a lot of energy. So to stop myself from giving too much, I sit myself down in a chair, and I'll record sitting down most of the time. But when I have a character that is super out there and she's super loud, kind of like Kureha Sakamachi, I stand up for the entire time. I can move my arms, I swing them, I learn how to get myself a tone. And when you're standing up, you can get a deeper tone also. So as opposed to my little girls who are all the way up here, where I don't have to try very hard just because I have a tiny voice in general. When I have a character that has a lower tone, I have to stand up because that allows you full access to your full range and your diaphragm down here. So it teaches you a lot of breath support, and first off, identifying what your good tone is a good way to figure out what body posture you need and what kind of energy you need as well. Definitely acting classes also help with that. Stage movement classes are amazing to figure out your body. The classes are wonderful. They may smell a little funny by the end you're done with them because you're getting like a constant workout, but it's a lot of fun, and it's how you learn to identify and grow as an actor, because to grow as an actor means you grow as a voice actor as well.
Alrighty, and now you've worked with Chris Ayres, as we had talked about, on numerous theater and voice acting jobs. What's it like to be directed by him and work with him?
Chris is wonderful. He gave me my first opportunity, and I'm very thankful that he did. Chris is someone who will always have you in the booth, and when he casts you as a character, one of the best things he does for me is during our first break, he'll take me outside and say, "Why did I cast you as this character?" And I remember this almost every time. He'll tell me a reason of why. Usually he associates the character with me in some way, or he has cast me purposely in a way that'll make me stretch that he hasn't done before. Zita Bruzasco in Chaika Coffin Princess, he said, because I cast you so often as the dreamy girl who's kind of disconnected from reality, I wanted to cast you as a character that was very grounded. She is completely opposite from a lot of your characters, and he's really good about doing that and trying to make you grow outside your niches that you may develop in the voice acting community without pushing you awkwardly in a direction you don't fit. He's really good at subtle growth, and he's wonderful. Again, we've had a lot of great conversation about improv and horror and just back and forth. There's never a conversation with Chris that I don't learn something, and it's amazing.
That's really good. That speaks volumes about direction and director characteristic. And on top of that, how he's still a voice actor, too, at the same time. So you also got to be in the show No Game, No Life. How's it like being part of that project, and what can fans expect out of it?
Oh, my goodness. No Game, No Life. I guess first off to say I was a fan of the show before I got cast in it. So when I got cast in it, I was at work. Well, so let's start with the preface of I was watching the show, and I got a little too attached to the show, and I'm like, I'm not going to get cast as this. I need to stop getting attached to this because I may not get cast as this, and I don't want my heart broken. I gave myself a huge pep talk one night that I'm like, you know what, there's so many other actresses who do this niche type. It's really cool. They'll do amazing. And the next day I'm at work and I get a call and they're like, so we have you for several hours that we need to book you for. And I'm like, what show? They're like, we want you to play Shiro in No Game, No Life. And I was in the craft closet at a preschool because I worked at a preschool at the time. And I just slowly shut the door and started weeping. And in the recording booth, it was a lot of fun. I was one of the first to lay down tracks, so I didn't get to work off the other actors as much, but I got to work with a few. When I finally got to hear it all together the first time at the Alamo Draft House viewing of it, first off, it was amazing because Scott and I have this height dynamic that Shiro and Sora have. So Scott's like way up here and I'm like way down here and we're talking. And it's like, oh my gosh, we actually have this height right. And then it was so amazing because he'd fit so well in between my lines. And it was like, I fangirled so hard just hearing it all together. I love hearing a final product of a show because I don't get to see all the pieces. I don't get to see what everyone else is doing in the booth or hear it all the time. So when that final product comes out, that's getting to see the full picture put together. And it's amazing.
Awesome. So you're also part of another great group called Heroes of Texas.
Yes.
What's it like to be part of them and getting the chance to help spread joy to children through cosplay?
It is really awesome. It's actually been very busy. Normally about this time of year, all the Avenger movies are coming out. I feel bad I'm not able to actually do this next one with them, but they get to go out there. They did the Hill Country Ride for AIDS this weekend, and they actually were branching off a little bit and doing Star Wars this weekend with local comic book shops. But it's really awesome because you're always dressed up like someone's favorite hero when you're doing that, and that means the world to them. And getting to see the kids' reaction and helping bring awareness to a good cause as a superhero is really rewarding. It's rewarding in a very different vein than a lot of my voice acting is, but it's a wonderful vein nonetheless. I'm super excited because they have so much going on and so much intended growth that we're hoping to grow and expand to eventually do what things like the 501st want to do also with superheroes. But we're getting there. We're small and mighty, but we're going slow.
Have you worked with the Heroes Alliance?
I have worked with the Heroes Alliance once or twice with them. They're wonderful. I don't know what was with Texas, but we do not have one that we're available for at the moment.
Alrighty, that's fine. And now, do you feel all the cosplay, theater training, and tabletop playing that you love to play have helped you with your voice acting, vice versa? Or would you recommend that if any fans want to do that, they do the same? Like you look at Matt Mercer and Travis and Laura with Critical Role and all those people, and they love tabletop, but we've talked to Travis and Matt, and they said that it really helps bring even more out, even though they know they're doing it for fun. So what's it like for you when you get to do tabletop? Do you actually try to get a character going when you do tabletop? And then, of course, does that help you with your voice acting?
Oh, absolutely. The voice that I have for Shiro, Mio, in some ways Tina, that monotone voice is actually based off a character I created in a tabletop role-playing game. It's a World of Darkness game. Her name's Ember. She's a Mystigos from Mage of the Awakening. I can tell you right now where she came to be, and that voice has grown. I am so pro people playing tabletop gaming, especially those who want to be actors and want to practice, because you're not only learning how to create a character, you're creating a character from nothing. In theater, you're given a script. You have a predetermined character, and you have to dissect it based off the vocal cues, what the people say about them, what they do in a show, and how their actions affect everybody. But when you have something that is strictly your own, you learn how to create character and nuance on a whole different level. And I think being an actor helps me bring out more. And I think when you play with a group that has an actor in it, everybody else kind of grows, which is really cool. But I also think for people who want to get into this and want to overcome shyness of being a character that sometimes they're held back for, tabletop is a great way, because not only is it silly, everybody's there. We're all playing the game, so nobody should be embarrassed by playing it, because we're all there. We're just socializing. We're having a good time. We're making fun of ourselves all at once, but we're also playing these characters that we grow to love, and we have these stories about eventually that we take away. I mean, I have so many stories about games, and I'm so sad I didn't run a panel about D&D horror stories, because they're amazing. They're some of the best and some of my favorite stories to hear of GMs gone wrong. And I'm so excited actually that Critical Role exists, because it brings a whole, I guess I was really lucky to catch on a generation where tabletop was kind of filtering out, but we caught on to it thanks to people I knew. I think Critical Role brings this new generation of people and fans to find these games. And honestly, tabletop role-playing games have grown so much. Like D&D 3.5 was so stat-oriented, and Mathfinder is what I called Pathfinder a lot of the time, because there's so much number crunching. Yeah. But once you get to like D&D 5 and you get these new systems like World of Darkness isn't new, but it's gotten more streamlined. You have more games that have less rolling and more learning how to play the role you're in. And I think that is a wonderful opportunity that actors should absolutely take advantage of. People might think it's silly or a waste of time, but not only is it therapeutic in a play therapy sort of way, it's also socializing in a very healthy manner. It's also having fun when your GM's not a jerk. I will state that. Let's hopefully you don't have a jerk GM. But it's just overall better for growth. I think once you learn how to play a character, I think when you learn to create a character and play them, you learn more about yourself, because you learn about the little pieces you take of yourself and put in those characters. And Critical Role gets me really excited. I haven't been able to catch up on it, but what it does for the tabletop community is amazing.
I used to play a barbarian with high intelligence that also was stupid, so it's quite fun.
Became a drunken master for many, many reasons.
So how does it feel like to be here at Animatic, knowing that it's its first year and that it supports Autism Rocks, the Make a Fit Foundation, and gets out a wonderful message about autism?
I absolutely love charity cons. That's one of the reasons I agreed to do it, because small cons, especially starting in cities, it feels near and dear to my heart, because I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and for a very long time we did not have conventions. So it's really exciting when I've gotten to hear so many stories about this is a lot of people's first time, because it's here in Cincinnati. And that's very close to me, because it's a way for people to grow and meet other people and feel less alienated, knowing there's other fans out there who enjoy the same thing, because most of these kids are in high school, and high school can be a very tough, defeating period of time, especially when you don't know other people with your hobbies. So conventions are a great way for people to find one another, and the fact it supports an awesome cause like Autism Rocks and Make It Fit is all the better. I'm absolutely about seeing a convention that donates to charity. That's why we're doing autographs. We have little pictures that if you donated, you would get a picture that we signed. Instead of charging for an autograph, it was make a donation, which is way better, I think, in my opinion.
Alrighty, now are there any upcoming projects you want fans to know about that you can talk about at this time that you want to share?
Keep your eyes open. I got to do Tonari no Seki-kun, which was really awesome. I didn't actually know who all was in the cast for that one, so it was really cool to see it come all together. I can tell you right now, there's a show coming out that you need to keep your eyes on. They've already started some cast reveals for it, so not saying anything, but it's going to be an awesome show. Definitely don't pass it up. Also, Bodacious Space Pirates movie is coming out in June. They got it dubbed. So Piracy Time has returned. I get to revoice Chiaki Kurahara, which is really awesome. I'm completely and utterly... It's really cool to revisit a character after so long, especially because she's one of my first, and I had like a sinus infection the entire time I recorded her. It was my first year in Texas, so you get sinus infections, obviously. So definitely keep your eye out for that show. It's a wonderful show. I love it, and I can't wait for y'all to see the rest of the cast. It'll be amazing. So definitely check out Bodacious Space Pirates.
Alrighty, now is there any way to keep up with you online? I know you have a wonderful Twitter and a wonderful Facebook, and also if you are a wrestling fan, we'll follow you on Twitter and Facebook. So how else can fans keep up and track with you? And a final message for all the wonderful fans that are out there.
Alright, so first off, as you mentioned, Twitter, Caitlynn French V. It's supposed to be for voice actor, but I guess for Victory or 5, I don't know which. I'm not 5. Despite I kind of look it, but so Caitlynn French V is my Twitter account, so you can follow me on there. I do have a voice acting page on Facebook, Caitlynn French Voice Actor. I also have Instagram with Caitlynn French VA. I mean, because it's really easy, just do the V and the A. Pretty tacky, pretty common. You can find me on there tagging things. It gets a little dead sometimes. You can also find me on Ask FM if you have any questions. I have a website, www.caitlynnfrench.com. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of Lovecraft based because I'm a Lovecraft fan, so like the entire thing's a parody of Lovecraft once you read my bio. And overall, I just want to thank everybody. The reason I'm here is because you all requested it, and that's how I get out. When you guys say that you want to see me at a convention and they listen, that's why I get to come out. So thank you so much for the opportunity to do so. I'm really excited that I got to come out. I'm really happy that I got to be here for the first year of this convention and help make it great. I had so much fun at the lip sync battle. I'm still finding and choking on glitter occasionally, but if anybody has those pictures, please send them to me. Oh my gosh. I want to see them and I want to post them because I'm all about embarrassing myself. I have no shame in that. And I look forward to getting to see you all next year or whenever I am invited back to the area again. So thank you so much, guys. I love you.
Thank you so much, Caitlynn.
Thank you.